Fairy tales have been around for centuries. The originals, however, paint a darker picture than the glorified versions we know of today. Here are 10 disturbing fairy tale origins. Number 10. The Frog Prince. Most know of the story, a kiss that is supposed to transform an enchanted frog into a handsome prince, right? Well, in another version of the Frog Prince, the princess is disgusted with him and throws him into a wall. This was oddly enough to transform him back into the prince he once was. Number 9. Mulan. Mulan was a story of a well-respected woman warrior who joined the army disguising herself as a man while moving up in rank. Even though soldiers accepted her status as a woman, the original story has more of a sad ending for Mulan. China ended up not winning the war, and Mulan was forced to live with Khan as his property. She ends up running away back to her home, only to find that her father had passed away. Being tormented with the visions of war in the past and the loss of her father, Mulan made the decision to end her life. Number 8. Pinocchio. The story of Pinocchio started as a part of a series in a children's magazine in the 1800s. It started with a talking log that a carpenter had found. He gave the log to Geppetto, who then carved it into what we know as Pinocchio. As soon as Geppetto had carved the nose, it began to grow along with Pinocchio's obnoxious and often mischievous behavior. Sometime along in the series, Pinocchio kills the talking cricket who had tried to help him change his ways by smashing him with a mallet. In the end, Pinocchio is hung for his rude behavior. Number 7. The Hunchback of Notre Dame. In The Hunchback of Notre Dame, Quasimodo is a secret kept hidden away from the world. He falls for a girl named Esmeralda. He tries to protect her from a crime that she didn't commit. Sadly, it ends up with Esmeralda being hung for the false accusations. Quasimodo, who was hurt by this, refused to leave Esmeralda's side even after her death. He was found dead from starvation while still holding Esmeralda's corpse. Number 6. The Pied Piper. It is said that the Pied Piper was actually based on true events in Germany. The piper offered to get rid of the town's rat infestation, but it was going to cost the mayor. The piper performed his job, yet the mayor had refused to pay him for his work. This didn't set well with the piper, and he lured over 100 children away from the town, never to be seen again. The mayor paid for these consequences the hard way, hence the saying, "Pay the piper." Number 5. Snow White. Who's the fairest of them all? Yes, I'm talking about Snow White. In the original story, things become a little more graphic. A huntsman is ordered by the evil queen to kill Snow White and bring back her heart. Unable to kill her, the huntsman allows her to run away, which is how she stumbles upon the home of the 7 dwarfs. After explaining herself, they allow her to stay under the condition that she takes care of their home. Finding out from the magic mirror that Snow White was still alive, the queen then tried to kill Snow White 3 different times. The first was an attempt to tighten her corset so she couldn't breathe. Second, with a poisoned comb. And the last, with the poisoned apple. This was when she passed out and was placed in a glass casket. She is awoken by having the apple dislodged from her throat from an accidental fall from the prince's servant. Snow White and the prince marry, while the evil queen was punished by the prince. She was made to wear a heavy pair of scalding hot iron shoes, which she would dance in until her death. Number 4. Rapunzel. Rapunzel, the one with the long golden hair. In the Grimm version, things get a little out of hand. Rapunzel is held captive and meets the prince, whom she lets her hair down for him to climb. She eventually realizes her clothes are too tight and that she had become pregnant with the prince's twins. When the witch finds this for herself, she cut Rapunzel's hair and cast her out to the wilderness, where she is forced to live life as a beggar on the street, along with her children. In the meantime, the witch shoved the prince off of the tower. He landed in a bed of thorns, damaging his eyes, causing him to become blind. The prince is reunited with Rapunzel, and they go to live in his kingdom. Number 3. Sleeping Beauty. She pricked her finger on a spindle and drifted off into a deep sleep, only to be awakened by true love's kiss. The original story was called Sun, Moon, and Talia. Talia, being Sleeping Beauty, had gotten a splinter of flax stuck under her fingernail. Her father presumed her as dead, and not being ready to cope with this, he placed her body in a bed of one of his estates. A king roaming finds her and assaults her while she is sleeping, resulting in the birth of twins. One of the twins sucks the splinter out, waking Talia up. The king's wife then threatened to kill and feed the children to the king. In the end, the king burned his wife alive, wanting to only be with Talia. Number 2. Cinderella. Cinderella is a tale of hope and magic. At least, this is how it has been portrayed. Cinderella is forced by her evil stepmother only to live as a servant. With the help of a fairy godmother, she found her Prince Charming. In the Brothers Grimm version, things become a little more disturbing. The stepsisters are encouraged by their mother to cut off their toes in order to fit the shoe to become married to the prince. The blood in the shoes gave them away. To make matters worse, it ends with the stepsisters having their eyes pecked out by doves, while Cinderella and the prince live happily ever after. Number 1. The Little Mermaid. This is number 1 for its not-so-happy ending and gruesome nature. Ariel's dream of meeting and becoming human has its prices. In the original, the measures are much more drastic. Ariel actually trades her tongue along with her voice to the Sea Witch. As for her new legs, every step she takes will have the pain of walking along sharp knives, and her feet will bleed profusely. In return, she will stay human and obtain a soul if she can gain the love of the prince. If she fails, she will dissolve into sea foam. Well, the prince ends up having an arranged marriage with someone who wasn't Ariel. The Sea Witch made another agreement. It was for Ariel to kill the prince and allow his blood to drip on her feet. This would turn her back into a mermaid and not suffer the consequences of her failure. Ariel declines, and she simply dissolves into sea foam. If you enjoyed this video and would like to see more, like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.